So let's see, our next presenter, oh, we have a nice slide here. So we have Vijay Kamineni from Logan Aluminum, who's going to speak to us next. So please welcome Vijay.
That was very, very, very impressive. And AI for good, and we can't do enough good in this world. And corporate has to step up and do good. I'm Vijay. I go by first name usually, just Vijay. And business transformation leader, and that's exactly what you think it is. I can do whatever I want to do as long as I bet my career on it. I've been with Logan Aluminum, and again, I'm coming after Clover. I don't think many of you heard about Logan Aluminum. How many of you heard about Logan Aluminum before? Yeah, that's Itachi doesn't count. So what I'm going to cover today is our business transformation journey. When we created this role about 20 months ago, we avoided calling it digital transformation for one reason, because we are a small firm. We are a mid-sized firm. We have, compared to Clover, we are a total of 1,400 employees. We were 1,000 3 years ago. Now we're about 1,400. So our journey is slightly different from a small to medium manufacturer, and what it means to be in this current state, and how to navigate everything that Greg has showed us. That's it, right? You just have to do all of that and you're good. How do you do all of that while running a production full swing for an existing company? A little bit about Logan Aluminum. We're a 35-year-old plant and a corporation. We make about 47% of North American can sheet. That is all beverage cans, Cokes, Pepsi, beer, and if there are 2 cans in this room, we probably have a good chance that we have a Logan Aluminum product here. 50% of the can sheet, right? I see one, I don't see the second one, so 50% chance. We don't sell anything. We have no sales teams. We don't sell anything. Our sales revenue is 0. We don't buy any aluminum. We don't own our plant. So with an ROI of 0 and an asset value of 3 or 4 vehicles and 1,400 employees, and we make aluminum for our owners, who are our customers. We are jointly owned by 2 competitors in the market, and they compete with each other to the same can plants. It creates a lot of challenges for our company, to, especially in today's world of when it's moving so fast in digital world. Yet we are still the lowest cost manufacturer of can sheet in the world. And when I say that, even this morning somebody said, so you have your manufacturing somewhere other than US? No, we are manufacturing all of that 2.4 billion pounds of aluminum in that plant you see behind that nameplate. That's one plant. We are one plant, single location, 1,400 people. And we do one thing well. We make beverage can sheet very, very well. We have a very basic, almost like a pizza rolling process. We cast our ingots and we hot roll it, cold roll it, cut it, and send it to the customers, and they stamp out cans for Coke, beer, Pepsi, RC Cola. So when we started on this journey, like I said, we do one thing right, and we do that very well. So our quality is very important. When you're making that much of product for one single industry, sustainable quality, and we talked about environmental. Aluminum is highly recyclable compared to any of the other recyclable material. Aluminum is a perennial metal. It never loses its properties. You can recycle it infinite number of times and it still maintains its properties. So for us to make a fresh can sheet with fresh aluminum from bauxite, takes us 9 times more energy than recycled aluminum. If we get the cans back and make the sheet again, it costs us 10% of what it would have costed us to make a same product from fresh aluminum. So we recycle a lot, almost 60 to 70% of our product is recycled. We try to not use as much prime aluminum. So for a small plant, for a plant like ours, a 35-year-old plant, we have a lot of challenges and opportunities. How many of you know the topology of Kentucky? How many of you want to go and work in Kentucky? That's our challenge. Getting talent is a challenge, and there is a new aluminum plant as big as ours being built not far from our 200-300 miles from our plant, and they announced they made a public statement that they're going to put all of their competition out of market because all other aluminum plants are old plants. The youngest plant is Logan Aluminum, and they're about 35 years old, and we can't rip and replace everything in digital technology. When they're building their plant, they'll come up with everything you heard Greg say, or everything you want to have in your digitally transformed organization. It creates a lot of different challenges for companies like us. Some of the challenges we faced was we don't have real-time visualization. Data is very siloed. We have about 59 machines, close to 3,000 PLCs producing about 30 terabytes of data per year. We make canned sheet. We should not have so much data on a sheet, right? Every single coil that's about 50,000 pounds average has 35,000 data points that we collect, and we have been collecting it for quite some time now. But all these systems are on that machine. Only the process engineer on that machine can see it. The downstream and the upstream can't see that data. And if data doesn't flow like that, you can only sub-optimize each process center. You can't do an end-to-end optimization. So we have opportunities there if we can do that. And we collect a lot of data, put it away in our data warehouse. We don't have a good way of using it across the plant. Predictive analytics and being able to be predictive. We don't have data scientists. I don't think we can hire data scientists to come to Russellville, Kentucky, about 1 hour northwest of Nashville. With a population of, Russellville is a population of 12,000 to 15,000 people with one McDonald's, no Starbucks. Not a very good place for a data scientist to work with. We used to have very manual scheduling process. We're probably one of those supply chains who are digital and Excel spreadsheets. We actually print safety instructions on a piece of paper and give it to every driver who used to come into our plant. So we have a lot of opportunity for a small company. We're still world-class in what we make in aluminum can sheet. How do we cross that gap? Greg showed us the adoption curve, and Jeffrey Moore wrote a follow-up book on that, Crossing the Chasm. There is a chasm between what the early adapters and people who need to go. There's a chasm that we have to cross, and it's not easy for smaller companies to cross. We don't have the money. We can't stop our production. We don't have a lot of revenue. We don't have a lot of resources to send and get trained in all the new technology. And technology changes much faster now than 10 years ago. So we identified a lot of use cases. When we started this journey, we said, okay, everybody talks about use cases, pick your use cases, early wins, quick wins. We had a whole bunch of those. We are not even qualified to even prioritize them correctly because there are so many of them and we have so little time and money and people. So that was a very interesting period in our journey. That time, we were looking for help. We don't have anybody at the plant who knows the digital world, what's coming, what's new in the digital world, where are we heading. We know where we came from in 35 years, we did very well. how do we sustain ourselves in the next 5 years, 10 years? That's when, while we are evaluating, I happened to be at Hitachi Next in 2018 in San Diego, and saw the model of the four-level model of a journey. We could not pick use cases haphazardly. We'll make more silos if you do that. One machine we probably will improve, and the other machine we probably will not, depending on how they were. So we needed a journey that our organization as a whole can go through. And I won't read every step of that. You probably saw those. That's where Hitachi helped us come up with a roadmap. How do we get from where we are to where we need to be with the resources we have and with the money we have? So this is our first part of that journey is data integration and analytics. Again, for somebody who has no idea about the cloud and no data scientist, how do you do that? We know on the edge side, we know how to we know the PLCs, we know the automation software, we have all that. Everything on the right, yes, we can send our folks who are free, who are not doing anything in the plant. 1,400 people, we don't have anybody who's not doing anything in the plant. And probably learn all that we are talking about on the right side in maybe 10 years. And by that time, half of that would be obsolete, or all of that would be obsolete in 10 years. So that's where we partner with Hitachi, is helping us with that side of we know what we want out of the data. There's too much in the process that we need to get what we want out of the data, and we're not capable of learning every one of that and building that architecture, and we don't have that. So Hitachi is helping us with the right side part of it. And all our use cases for the right side of this is the list of use cases, and for confidentiality, I can't show all of that in here. So Hitachi came and we worked together. A team came and walked through all our units, talked to our people, and they knew what questions to ask. We knew what answers we can give from a business side. We're doing business transformation. We're not doing digital transformation because we don't know the technology. We are not technology experts in digital world. So helped us with the pilot of what is the sweet spot and where do we start to as a part of our journey. And these are some of the benefits we're seeing today. They're not as touching and emotional as the AI for good, but for our 1,400 people working, we're working on our IT, OT, and the business convergence. IT and OT, we are very separated. We have 7 OT teams, 1 for each business unit, and an IT team, and none of them talk with each other. And business is happening in all those little places. So we're converging all that. We created the conversational bot for our truckers to know when their loads will be ready, and they don't have to call somebody, email somebody, and wait for a response. We reduced those calls and emails by 50 to 60%, and now we are scaling that out into other units like our account payable and other areas in our. So basically, if you see we're looking at more of a man-machine rebalance to be able to change how we do business. And I don't know what technology will help us there. We know where we want to be, and we'll let technology experts take care of the technology. I'm not saying we're not learning it in the process of journey. We have data science expertise being developed within the company. Now we know from what Hitachi is building for us, we know how that piece works, but we're not designing it. Learning that, and now all that data is accessible to analysts, process engineers, our management, and our owners. That's a tricky thing. When 2 competitors own the plant, they can't know each other's data, so instead of converging on the top, we have to separate it like a multi-tenancy, like John said. They're having the real-time, so how did we become the last part, the CI part of for troubleshooting? How are we the lowest cost manufacturer? Not because Kentucky salaries are that much lower than Nashville salaries. No, I get paid well. I've been there for 12 years and I still want to work there. So it's not by paying less labor. It's our continuous improvement. Our mills, we produce about 5 times more per hour on the hot mill compared to the similar hot mills across the world. We have done that by Kaizen and Lean Six Sigma process for the last 35 years. How can we do that for the next 5 years? We almost came to an end. That's where the digital tools and end-to-end optimization will help, and that's what will drive our improvement going forward. So the lessons we learned through this 20 months, we're still learning, we're still young and small, and I'm sure there are a lot of manufacturing companies that are similar to us out there who have to go through the same process or dabbling into the similar process. The workshop I talked about, we are looking at people and culture. Our people, we know what our business is. It's a joint workshop to bring the technology and the people together and see what's the best way to cross that chasm and get into the adoption mode. That helped us a lot in our defining the roadmap and picking the use cases, and it also helped our employees when they interact with the technology team to see the opportunities they have and ask questions on, oh, can you do this? Yes, we can do it, and we don't need to know how to do it because they're helping us. Use case focus, the first few months that we focused on use cases, don't get me wrong, use cases and early wins are very important, but it should not be in absence of a roadmap. You need to have the big picture of where we are and where we are going and what we are trying to do with that roadmap, and then get iterative quick wins like we do in Agile. We came from an Agile project management. We do quick iterations on small use cases to help us get to that point. And the last point, the strategic partnership approach. When we are selecting our vendors, one thing that we couldn't have done is if every vendor at this conference gave all of their tools free, absolutely free forever, and all the Azure space I need, I don't think Logan can use any of them because we don't have the people to use those tools, learn those tools, and bring business value out of those tools. But I don't think we will be the exception there. I think a lot of manufacturing companies will find themselves in that spot, especially the speed of technology changing. So that's where we need somebody, a partner who can take us, do the technology part we don't know, and let us make coils so we have cans and we still have beer and Coke.